Hello, my name is Christopher, and today I'll be doing a video on loops. So to start off, let's tell you what loops are. Loops are basically what it sounds like, a loop. A loop usually implies that it keeps on going and going and going. But in code, loops usually go until they reach a certain parameter, until they complete their task. Today we'll be starting off with the while loop. The while loop is seen here in the example that I made, and it will, in this while loop, you declare your variables outside of the while loop's parameter list, and then it'll run loop until it meets the requirements, or it'll no longer meets the requirements inside of the parameter list. So for this example, we have it so we set a variable of integer x equal to 0 and a target that is equal to 100. And inside the loop, which is while x is less than the target, which is 100, it will keep running these commands inside of it. And as I see it here, 100 might be a little too large, so let's switch that to 10, because it would take a really long time to run if it was 100. Then so while x is less than 10, it will print out the current value that x is, and then tell you what the target is. And it'll keep adding 1 to the x at the end of this until it reaches the target value. And then it'll print out that x has reached the target value of x. So to run this, we can clear that out, compile since we changed the number, and then run. And as you can see down here, it'll tell you it starts off as x being 0 and the target's 10, and then it goes up by 1 each time the loop runs. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then finally a value of 10. So a loop basically keeps running, or the while loop keeps running until it no longer meets these requirements. If it weren't to meet the requirements at all, the loop wouldn't run at all, and it would just skip to this down here. So that's a while loop. Oh, it's that kind of out of order, but here, for a for loop, unlike the while loop, the for loop has one of the variables declared inside of it. As you can see here, we have the target still declared outside, but then we get our x, or our first variable, declared inside. So we have for integer x is equal to 100 x, and while x is less than or greater than the target, x minus minus. So this time we're going down instead of increasing the value of x. And it's pretty much the same as a while loop, but in this case, it's just the difference is that the variable x is being declared inside instead of outside, because that's how they work. So now if we were to run this one, we would get this. It's pretty much the same thing, it's just that it's declared inside, as I said earlier. And it'll be decreasing by 1 until it finally reaches the target, which is 25. But it only prints up to 26 because I put the print inside of this time. I forgot to add the sentence on the outside once it reaches the value. That's pretty much a for loop. You just declare it inside instead of outside this time, because in this case we know what we want to reach, and in this case it's on the outside of it, so the while loop doesn't really know the variables are on the outside. Now we go to nested loops, which is a loop inside of a loop. So what you get when you get a loop inside of a loop, it'll first run this. So let's say it's 0, it starts out 0, and it's less than 4, so it'll run once. But since this second loop down here is inside of it, this will run right after. Or after this first one runs once, this second loop will run through the entirety of it. So let's say while it's 0, this bottom one as 0 will run all the way to 7, while this one just increments. As 0, this one will go all the way to 7. And then after that, we'll go back to the first loop, since this one's complete too, and this is still inside of its brackets, inside of its statement. Then we'll move to 1 in the first iteration, and the second one will be, it'll run 0 to 7 again. So it'd be like 0, and then the b's will go 1 through 7. Then a will be 1, and they'll go 1 through 7 again. So this can come in handy, like for instance when you're running through coordinates like an x value and a y value. Let's say you want to start off at an x1 and you want to run at, well, x is at 1 through all the y values. It'll do that, then I'll move down to x2 and all the y values will be run for x2. So it's good for going through shapes and those kind of things. So now let's run this instance. This is a nice loop example. And this will give you a better idea of how it works. So, as I was saying earlier, the first iteration, all the a's are 0, but b changes each time since it's inside of the loop. So while a is stuck at 0, b completes its loop. And then once b completes its loop, it goes back up to the first loop, which is a. And it keeps doing this until a completes its loop, which is reaching 4. So loops are very useful when a lot of the same things have to be repeated through a lot of... It's really useful in pictures, basically. So you can change all the pixels and run through all the pixels. So yeah, that's pretty much loops. Thank you.